Sunday. I'm Paula Montgomery from Desert Cat Creations, and I want to welcome you to the Bead Stash Challenge. Today's week 22. We are kicking off the week to draw for our project and see what we're going to make on Thursday at noon Pacific time. I'm also going to make a bracelet today. We're going to look at doing some color blocking using mixed gemstones. Some of that. It will be a fairly quick project, so hopefully you guys can hang around for that. If you're new to us, just want to remind everybody that this is the Bead Stash Challenge. So Bead Stash Challenge is a deck of cards, although it's really 5 decks these days, that helps you expand your creativity. So it does this by helping you make a variety of things, also use a variety of components, and then use some different design techniques, as well as add some themes into your projects. So it gets you thinking about your projects and not just doing things on remote control. I know myself, before I started using these cards, a lot of times all I ever thought about was making a pair of earrings, right? And my earrings were all very similar. I changed the colors, I might change the type of beads, but I ended up doing a lot of the same thing just because I wasn't willing to try different things, right? So the cards have really helped me think about that, and then I think my, I can more quickly come up with something new and different, so that I'm making a variety of things. Now, if you're a seller and you have something that sells, continue to do that. But if you want to look for some new projects to sell, this may be a way to get you to try something different. And, I've discovered things that I would have never thought about that I now incorporate, into some newer designs when I'm making things. So anyways, so that's where we're at. We do have, like I said, the base deck, which you can use by itself. We have 4 additional what I call expansion decks. So they are designed to be used with the original deck. Now, 2 of our decks are Southwest themed deck and our Sun and Sea deck. They could technically be used by themselves, but there's only a few make cards, so there's not going to be a big variety of things that you use in there. But you could use them by yourselves. And then our other 2 expansion decks, one is a color deck, which just adds a bunch of things, a bunch of colors. So you're using a variety of things, maybe combining colors that you wouldn't have done, because we all have our favorite color. And I know I've gone out like shopping and I bought everything in one shade because that was what I was in the mood for, and that's my favorite shade, right? So anyways, the color deck helps you use a variety of colors, lets you experiment with some of these other things that might appeal to other people, right? Because not everybody's favorite color is blue. Okay. I have friends whose favorite color is brown, orange, yellow, not blue. Anyways, and then our final deck is our non-jewelry and findings deck. So this helps you use the different kinds of findings. I personally don't use my, I'm really bad about using bead caps. They're just not my thing, right? But, now every once in a while I incorporate them into my designs. And, they're there for a reason. They look great on some designs. But, I just don't think about using them. They're using links or different kinds of clasps, those kind of things. So it can help you with that. It also helps you come up with designs for making some of your own findings, because maybe you don't have a bead store handy, or you can't find something that you like online. So make your own, right? So it helps us learn how to do that. Anyways, so that's Bead Stash Challenge. And so let's go ahead and draw for this week, and then we'll get started on our project for today. All right. All right, so let's get our Zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So here's our make cards. First thing we're going to figure out is what we're going to make this week. I don't have that many cards left because what I do is I shuffle all of my decks together, and then I just take them out as we do them until we run out of cards, and then we reshuffle them, right? So this week we are going to make a match set. So it can be any combination of jewelry. I specifically wrote earrings, bracelet, or necklace, but if you want to make an anklet or something like that, that's perfectly fine as well. Okay, so it just has to be at least 2 different pieces of jewelry, and that's not 2 earrings. That's earrings and something, or you could make 2 bracelets. It just has to be something that you would wear together, right? Okay. All right. So now we look at our use cards, and these are going to tell us what types of components we are going to use in our project this week. All right. So in our match set, we are going to use brown, and we are going to use gold beads or metal with our brown, and we are going to use sea glass, real or faux. Okay, so the brown and the gold are both from our color expansion. The sea glass is from our sun and sea deck. So it's a variety of things that we're going to use. All right. So then our final card that we draw, and you can draw as many used cards as you want. If you want to just draw 1, you can draw 1. If you want to draw 5, you can draw 5. It is totally up to what you're comfortable with. I think 3 makes for a nice challenge though. Okay. So challenge cards, these are what are helping expand our design capability. Okay, so these are themes or design aspects that we're going to incorporate into our project. So we are going to design something inspired by a walk on the beach. So that sea glass is pretty nice with that card, right? So all right, so on Thursday you can join me at noon, or you can watch the replay. Replays are always available on Facebook for 30 days and on YouTube for as long as YouTube decides to keep them. But we are going to make a matched set. I don't know yet whether it's going to be earrings, bracelets, or necklaces, or what, but we are going to use brown. We are going to use gold. And we are going to use some sea glass, and it's all going to be inspired by a walk on the beach. All right. So perfect. It's a good set of cards for doing right after Memorial Day, as people are starting to think about summer and going to the beach. Some of you may have already gone to the beach. I went to my personal beach yesterday, hung out at the pool, and we have lots of sand because I live in the desert. So anyways, all right, so I thought I would just make a bracelet today. I have a bunch of beads from the May Bargain Bead Box, and I'm actually pulling out some spacers from one of the other boxes, but we'll see what we end up using. So I thought I'd make a little bracelet. I might use this little lion's head bead. It's very cute. It is a large hole bead though, so think about that one a little bit. So I pulled out some of the beads in this. It was a safari themed. So there's some crystals. These are triangular shaped crystals, but they go with these beads really well. We've got some leopard skin jasper, which I've always loved the patterns that are in leopard skin jasper. We've got some zebra jasper. And see, this is the way where I need to cheat, right? What is this? All right, so we have our leopard skin. Yeah, I think it's just zebra jasper. Okay. You can kind of see the stripes. These are nice brown stones, right? So we could use those in our project. Then we have here, this is some red rainbow jasper. It's in a little different cut, so it adds some textural variety. We've got some obsidian, mahogany obsidian. And then these fun Z beads, which I always love. So these are basically an agate. They use heat to put the designs on them. And some dye, sometimes, depends on the variety that you get. So that's what we've got to work with today, all right? And then I thought I would string it on some, I have this bone colored soft flex, but I thought it would go nicely with my designs here. So let's get these going. So I was thinking I'd just like kind of block some of these different beads. I hadn't really totally thought through the design yet. Let's get a few beads off of each of these strings. Wasn't actually sure if I wanted to use this red, so I'm gonna think about that one a minute. Only because I don't know. I'm not a red person, but and red, even though it's kind of a neutral in this case, it just seems a little less neutral than the rest of these strands. So we've got a couple different cuts here. So we've got a nugget. We've got some rounds and some bigger rounds. And then I've got these crystals that we can use to separate them. Guess I can pull that off later. All right. And then I got these gold beads out just in case. Although I think these crystals are going to be actually really, really nice. So I was thinking we could just, you know, sort of block the beads a little. I guess, you know, if I use these ones, it'll give me a fifth one. You know, sometimes in design elements, having an odd number is more appealing to your eyes for some reason. I don't really understand it, but that's what they say. And I have to say, I see it when I look at some things, you know, my eye does want like 3 of something or whatever. So, all right. So if I want to use this lion as my centerpiece, he's very cute. Now, the hole is kind of big, so what I'm going to need to do is put something up next to it that'll hold it pretty firmly in there. I don't know if these are small enough to... The other thing you can do with some of those things, if it's got a big hole, is put beads underneath it. So it'll sit nicer on your... Okay, these don't fit inside, but they can fit right up next to it and kind of hold it. I will be searching for beads on my floor when I'm done. Oh, hey, Janelda. Yay, I can see comments today. It's exciting. I am messing around with my kit from Bargain Bead Box. So we're going to make a necklace, or a bracelet. I'm going to use this cute lion's head and you know what, actually I don't need to use this. Maybe I don't need this since my lion will be my centerpiece. Yeah, you know, sometimes with these big hole beads like the lion head, I would use that with leather. I have to get that off later. All right. So let's see what we can lay out here. So we've got our lion in the center. Let's see if I can zoom in a little better. All right. So maybe some leopards on one side, maybe some zebra on the other side, and now I could put you know, like crystals between each one, but let's wait and see. I'll put these over here. And it's kind of a fun, very neutral. Now I could like I said, I kind of like those crystals. Obviously, I'd need less beads if I had the crystals. The other thing I could do, since I do have this nice gold bead in the middle, it would be to separate these with a gold bead there. If you guys can see that or not. Let's see if I can move this a little bit. And maybe I don't need the crystals, although I think the crystals would. All right, let's put it on the string and see what it looks like and how long it is. Okay, so hey Mariaka, I can see you all today. So you can tell from my voice, I still have a little bit of my cough left, but I feel way better than I did last weekend. So. All right, I am going to skip the crystal for a moment, and we're going to put this on here and see what we think, okay? I'm going to put these small gold beads next to the lion's head so I can hopefully it'll sit better and not move around as much. Hope you all had a nice weekend. Beautiful here. Went out for a short walk yesterday and then hung out in the pool a little bit. All right, let's see how long our bracelet ends up being. And remember, your clasp always adds at least a ½ inch, even if it's a lobster. What do you think? That's a fun safari design. Let's see what it says as far as how long it is. Actually, we did pretty good. So that's 6.5. So if I add my clasp, that should be about right. Now, you know, some of these beads are a little chunky, so maybe that I need to add just a tad more. What do you guys think? Is that a fun kind of safari mix? I will admit it's a lot of browns for me, but I'm going with it. And we're going to be making brown again, although, you know, as I always say, you only have to have one bead to meet the criteria. You like it chunky? Yeah, I do like the chunky. All right. I guess my clasp came with jump rings that I don't really need, so we'll take those off and save them for later. Janelda, I hope you had a nice, a good show. All right. So I am putting my crimp bead on, putting my lobster clasp. Now I did not check to see if these beads had holes big enough for 2 wires. It looks like they do, so that means we can leave a tail on the end in case our crimp breaks, which it shouldn't, but you never know. Things happen. All right, we're going to use the magic crimper. We're putting the crimp centered in the little divot there, and we're giving it a good squeeze. We get a ravioli shaped thing, so we're going to turn it 90 degrees, and then we are going to put it back in the divot, and we are going to squeeze again. Good friends, but not good. Well, I'm glad you got to see your friends, right? All right, and then we are just gently turning and squeezing until we get our nice little bead there. All right. Now I'm going to slide everything back towards this clasp, making sure that the end gets in there. That's what we've got. And we're going to check the length just to make sure Actually, I think it's going to be okay. It might be a little long, but all right, so I'm going to leave myself a couple inches here, maybe 2.5 inches or so. And I don't know why I have these still out, but out of my way. All right, so let's put our crimp bead on there. Now I could add a you know, a jump ring to hook this into, but I actually like to just use make a loop with my soft flex, so I am going to do that. And we're gonna stick that wire back through that crimp. And I want to stick it back through a couple of beads, all right? And then I want to slide everything down. Now, you don't want to make your loop too small, but you also, you know, don't want a big loop unless you need it. So I am going to check my length here because I don't want to seal everything up. Actually, I think that's, yeah, it's a slippery one today. All right, so I'm going to just kind of firmly hold that down. All right. So I don't need a giant loop. I think the size is about right on here. Sometimes if it's slipping around, you know, you may just have to use gravity. Pull this down a little. And make sure it's in there fairly tight, which it is not. All right, I think we got things tight. Oops, and now our end was sticking out there, so. All right. So I'm holding that tight, and I am going to, again, stick my crimp in there, and we're going to squeeze, turn. Sometimes this is the hardest part. And you want to be gentle so you don't accidentally crush your crimp like I just did, I think. All right, I think we got her. So let me trim that, and let's look at what we got here. All right, we got our little lion's head there. got our mix of different stones, so it's very, like I said, very jungly, safari. I guess not jungle in the lines, but we're playing with all of our stuff here. So let's put it on and see if and you know me, I gotta use my bracelet helper. Help. I just pinched my finger. It's one of those days, I guess, huh? All right. So now we've got our lion bracelet. And that's super fun. All right. Well, thanks for hanging with me on that. I know it was nothing new, but, you know, playing with the color blocking and designing it, you know, there was a little stuff that went in there. We didn't end up using our crystals, but we did use our other stuff that was out here. So switch this out. Anyways, so I hope you guys had have a great rest of the weekend. Show me what you're making. You know, tomorrow's June, so it's a whole new month. So we will be putting out our summary reel. I know we missed out on a few videos because I was out of town, but it's okay. You still get the pictures in the reel, and maybe I'll throw a few of my vacation pictures in there as well, just for fun. Since, you know, that's why you didn't get to see me do things live. All right. So we will be back on Thursday to make our matched set. I don't know what combination of pieces I'm going to make, but I will tell you they will have brown, they will have gold, they will have sea glass, and they will be inspired by a walk on the beach. Okay, so that's always a fun combination to work with. So looking forward to sharing that with you on Thursday. I hope you have a great week. I'll see some of you around in various social media places. As always, the best way to help out your small businesses and people is to like and follow their Facebook and their Instagrams and subscribe on YouTube, and just commenting or reacting to posts. All of that is helpful, gets us more visibility, and hopefully we can get a few more people in here that will watch us and play along with us, because you know, it's some days it feels a little lonely. Lonely in our group, but I know people are out there. I know people are busy. So hopefully, you know, you all take the time to be creative. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to direct message me or email me. The information is in our blocks on all of our social media sites. You can find that information on how to contact us, as well as our website if you want to order any cards. I think I'm gonna run a early summer sale starting this week. So let me, you know, I'll let you guys know the details on that. Best way to find out about things is to join our group, because you'll often get an earlier heads up than you will if you wait for the main page. So our Bead Stash Challengers group, the link is in this video. If not, just search for Bead Stash Challengers in Facebook, answer the 3 questions, and join us. And we'd love to have you participate with us. But if nothing else, you can look at the rest of the designs and look what everybody's doing. So I will see you all on Thursday. Have a great week.